go.
Okay.
Are not necessarily the views of Lexington Community Radio or its board of directors. The views expressed are solely those of the programmers.
You are listening to Off the Cuff. Now, here's your host, Adam Banks.
Welcome, everybody, to Off the Cuff. I am Adam Banks, coming at you live from Lexington, Kentucky. Thank you for listening to the show, and thank you for tuning in to WLXU 93.9 FM. In addition to listening to us on the radio, you can check out our Facebook live stream at Off the Cuff with Adam Banks, or you can download the Radio Lex app on your smartphone device to listen to us anywhere in the entire world. You can also stream the show on the website at radiolex.us. Amber Turner and I are both broadcasting from the Deborah Hensley Studios here at Radio Lex on North Limestone. It is September the 29th, 2022, 4:01 to be exact. Amber, today is the 1-year anniversary of me moving into my first home. Can you believe that?
Hey, I can. Congratulations.
Thank you. I spent most of the day relaxing and trying to enjoy my house just to celebrate that 1-year anniversary. So you know what I did this morning?
Yeah, what?
I got up and I did something very old school.
Like what?
Very old school. I watched CMT music
Okay.
videos. How long has it been since you sit around and watch CMT music videos?
I'm going to say probably about 20 years.
Country music television. That's what I used to do all of the time when I was a little boy. I used to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning so I could go into the living room and wait for Any Man of Mine by Shania Twain
Oh, my goodness.
to come on because I was in love with her and I wanted to see the video. But you will never believe who came on the TV during a CMT video watch.
I'm almost afraid to ask.
Whose bed have your boots been under?
Are you serious?
By Shania Twain. And I was so excited. It was like a full circle. But it made me start thinking of, I swear, I don't know why I thought about this.
Yeah.
But I remember I used to be in love with Shania Twain when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I remember this guy said, I don't know why you like, this was back in the 90s, like 96. He said, I don't know why you like Shania Twain for, she's got AIDS.
Oh, Lord.
I said, what? And even though that was so like out there, it still was planted in my head. That's because even if it was true or not, he still said that about her.
Well, yeah, and plus we were young, so we believed everything we heard.
And there was no internet to go to and look to see if that was true or not.
No, you had nothing to check it out on.
There was nothing to verify. So for years, I knew she didn't have AIDS, but it was always kind of in my mind that she did.
Yeah.
And he said that it was a rumor that she did. And it made me start thinking, how did these pre-internet rumors get started before the internet? Because there were obviously a lot of rumors before the internet.
Oh, yeah, there were.
What can you think of maybe some of your favorite pre-internet rumors?
Oh, goodness. Let's see. So, obviously the one with the Pop Rocks and the Pepsi, that if you drank that would kill you.
Well, yes,
more of an urban legend, but at first it was kind of a rumor.
Well, I have a list of all of the biggest pre-internet rumors that were in existence before the internet.
Now, are you going to tell us if they're true or false? That's what I need to know.
Well, all of these are false.
Oh, gosh.
Everything is false. They were rumors. But what's unique about these particular things I'm going to mention is you couldn't verify because there was no internet.
Yeah.
So these I call pre-internet rumors.
Okay.
So back in the day, do you remember when people used to say that Jamie Lee Curtis was born a hermaphrodite?
I do not remember that. I do not.
They said that she was born with three X chromosomes, which is not true.
Yeah.
Okay, she was not a hermaphrodite.
Hermaphrodite?
Yeah, she was not one of those. Paul from the Wonder Years grew up to be Marilyn Manson.
No, yes, I did hear that.
Did you hear that one?
Yes, I did.
I used to believe that as sure as you're sitting here today.
Hey, that used to scare me because I'd watch it at night and I'd think, oh my gosh, that's Marilyn Manson.
That's a rumor, folks. Paul from the Wonder Years did not grow up to be Marilyn Manson.
Oh, that sucks.
Did you ever hear the rumor that Michael Jackson slept in an oxygen chamber?
I did,
Well,
actually.
the reason that rumor got started was because it was back in the 80s when Thriller Mania was going crazy. There was a photo of, so they were trying to say, tabloids and stuff were trying to say he laid in that so he could keep his youth and he wouldn't age. And as soon as he heard of that rumor,
Yeah.
he sold the chamber.
Oh, goodness.
So he said, that's not true. That's not why I'm doing it.
Yeah, but then he sold his chamber.
There was a pre-internet rumor back in the day that Magic Johnson got HIV at an orgy thrown by Eddie Murphy.
Oh, my word.
So apparently the rumor, and where do people come up with these? Because you got to think, folks, there was no internet. Back in the early 90s, they said that, or late 80s, Eddie Murphy threw this huge orgy party, and there were transgender people with HIV coming to his parties, giving him that ended up making Magic contract the disease.
Oh, my.
Not true.
Yeah.
Not true.
Not true.
In the slightest. Mikey from the Life commercials. Do you remember that little boy?
Yeah, Mikey likes it.
Yes, Mikey likes it. Mikey from the Life commercials' stomach exploded.
Yes.
That was a rumor that is not true. So you remember that rumor?
I do.
Apparently they said that Mikey, the kid who hated everything except Life cereal, had ingested Coke and Pop Rocks.
Mm-hmm.
And in it made his stomach explode and he died. Now, isn't that what you just said?
Yes.
So yes,
See, that was a whole thing.
Mikey from the Life cereal box did not die from Pop Rocks.
And Pop Rocks and Pepsi won't hurt you.
Speaking of Marilyn Manson, we talked about Marilyn a while ago. There was an old pre-internet rumor that Marilyn Manson had his ribs removed so he could pleasure himself.
I did hear that.
Apparently, the goth superstar wanted to be a bit more flexible, they thought. So he could fit a certain part of his anatomy in his mouth. But I'll give you a hint.
Yeah.
We're not talking about his big toe.
Well, I don't know if that one was true.
So that's not true. That's not true. It was a totally false accusation. It was a totally false internet rumor, and it was hard to verify because there was no internet.
Well, and like, really, what would you do, prior to Ask Google? Who would you even go about asking questions like that to?
There was an old pre-internet rumor. Tell me if you remember this one, that Andy Kaufman faked his own death.
Yes.
Elvis is alive.
In a UFO.
Tupac is also alive.
Yes.
What about Gene Simmons surgically enhancing his tongue?
Now, I did hear that
To
one.
make it longer? Nope, he is just hung in the tongue, folks.
Oh, goodness.
He just naturally has a long tongue. What about this one? I really remember this rumor before the internet, that Walt Disney froze his body so he could be unfrozen later in life.
Yes, and that it was like a part of one of the rides or somewhere in Disney.
It was beneath Disneyland.
Okay.
It was beneath Disneyland. That is not true. It's not true. That was all fake. His body is not physically present, and he died from cardiac arrest. And yes, he was an animated genius, but just like all of us, he's going to die. We're all going to die. No matter if you freeze yourself, line an oxygen tank. But I remember that Walt Disney, the rumor that he froze himself.
Yeah.
That he really wasn't dead. He was just frozen under Disneyland.
Oh, my goodness.
That rumor is still going on today, I feel like.
Because there's got to be a little bit of truth to it.
There is the rumor that the Red Ranger, remember the Red Ranger,
Yep.
Jason? There was a rumor that he was a gay porn star.
Yeah.
That's not true.
Wait, but didn't one of them, murder people?
No, I don't think so. The Yellow Ranger died in a car accident.
Oh.
But there was a Red Ranger, Jason, my favorite. There was a rumor that he was a gay porn star. He is neither gay nor was he a porn star. And the reason that people even come up with this rumor is because there was somebody that looked a lot like the actor Austin St. John who played the Red Ranger, and they were trying to say that this person who almost looks identical to him was him, but it in fact was not.
Mistaken identity.
Yes, mistaken identity. There was also a pre-internet rumor, and I remember this one. You tell me if you remember this one, Amber, that Saved by the Bell stars Mark Paul Gosselaar and Mario Lopez died in a car crash immediately following filming the Saved by the Bell last episode.
I did not remember that one.
So I do remember that one, but
Yeah.
that's not the exact rumor that I remember.
yeah.
The rumor was that Mark Paul Gosselaar got into a car accident and was paralyzed from the waist down.
Oh goodness.
That's the rumor that was heard. And I used to think that was true for years because there was no internet to verify it.
Yeah.
There was a pre-internet rumor, many of you might remember, that Jan and Marcia Brady hooked up
Oh.
behind the scenes. That is totally, totally not true. I just want to look at somebody and say, sure, Jan.
Sure, Jan. But I think Marcia and was it Greg? They did.
Not Marcia and Greg, but Marcia and... No, not Marcia and Greg, but Greg and Florence Henderson, the mom.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Well.
Mrs. Brady
Yeah.
and Greg
Next to you.
went out on a date.
Mrs. Brady.
Yes, and she talks about it. She talked about it in her book.
Yeah.
That he took her out on a date.
I'm gonna have to read
now
that.
that's true.
Yeah.
But Jan and Marcia, no, they did not
No.
hook up.
Sure, Jan.
Steven Spielberg directed The Poltergeist is another horrible rumor.
It's a rumor.
It's not true. Who do you think directed The Poltergeist? If I had to, you would have said Steven Spielberg, right?
Yeah.
Most people would have. Maybe you can call this the Mandela effect. It was indeed not directed by Steven Spielberg. Spielberg wrote the movie.
Yeah.
He produced the movie, but he did not direct the movie. The movie was directed by Toby Hooper.
Who?
Toby Hooper. And he also directed the Texas Chainsaw Massacre
Oh.
and the rest of the Poltergeists. But no, it was not a Steven Spielberg film. And a lot of people thought it was. And the reason you probably grew up thinking it was is there was no internet to verify.
No.
Now you can get on IMDb and
Check it out.
and check it all out. But apparently it wasn't true. There was also a pre-internet rumor that Paul McCartney died in 1966.
Yes.
Okay.
I do remember that one.
Obviously, he is alive and well.
Very.
But that, folks, is just a small glimpse into the world before the internet and all of the many different rumors that used to surround us. And it was hard to fact check these because there was no internet. And now it's so hard to spread untrue rumors about people.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can fact check things with the internet with the drop of a hat.
Uh-huh.
I know I've even said stuff before out loud, and I'll look over at people and they're fact checking me immediately on their
Oh
phone.
goodness.
And back in the day, you say something, you just kind of have to listen and find out later if it's true.
Take their word for
Like
it.
when the guy told me Shania Twain had AIDS.
Yeah.
I mean, that broke my heart.
I know, and you was a young lad then too.
I couldn't get on the internet to see if that was
No.
true. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is a list of pre-internet rumors. I hope you got a kick out of them. And now we have the internet, the beautiful World Wide Web that can verify all of those things. But ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a quick break. Stick with us. We still have lots more off the cuff coming at you live after these words.
Hi, I'm Lily Rochelle, and this is Radio Lex, the voice of the people. WLXU 93.9 FM in Lexington.
Radio Lex has the support of CD sponsor Dominique Wright. Thanks, Dominique.
How's the recording?
We were still rolling.
Have you been drinking? If so, you shouldn't be behind the wheel. Adults metabolize alcohol at a rate of 1 drink per hour. If you've been drinking, your judgment is impaired whether you realize it or not. Only time will sober you up. Cold showers and coffee don't do the trick. Every 2 minutes, a person is injured in a drunk driving crash. Drunk drivers account for 10% of all fatal crashes during the day and 30% of all fatal crashes at night. Hi, this is Doug Gleason with State Farm, reminding you to be a good neighbor and to find a designated driver if you've been drinking.
Radio Lex has the support of corner sponsor Central Bank. CentralBank.com.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? We got some work to do now. Scooby-Doo.
back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. Amber is also in studio with me. What you are hearing is the famous cartoon theme song from Scooby-Doo. This is Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Maybe one of the most recognizable cartoon theme songs of all time. Amber, did you ever watch Scooby-Doo?
Oh, you already know I
Who
did.
was your favorite character?
Shaggy.
Of course.
Yeah.
A very recognizable theme song. This came on early in the mornings. Usually, I was already on the bus by the time this came on.
Yeah.
But
Well,
it is a famous cartoon theme song, and Amber, it made me start thinking of some of the best cartoon theme songs throughout time.
yeah.
Now, we have talked about many different theme songs on this show. We've talked about TV sitcom themes. We've talked about movie scores. We've talked about movie original songs. Last week on the show, we talked about soap opera themes.
Yes.
But today on the show, I would like to talk to the audience about the best cartoon theme songs throughout time.
Okay.
And we will start with this song, Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? This song was its theme song for its entire run from 1969, a classic. They went on and made several Scooby-Doo movies too, didn't
Yes, they did.
But a great theme song, a great cartoon theme song to start this off. Now, let's continue with the list. The Flintstones ran from 1960 to 1966. I love the Flintstones. It was one of those cartoons that was from the 60s, but it was so watchable even in our era.
I honestly didn't know that it wasn't continuously made on until we were younger.
No, it was finished recording in
Yeah.
the mid 60s. It only
Wow.
lasted 6 years. So all of those cartoons that we grew up on
Yeah.
were replays.
Oh, wow.
Now, were you a big fan of the movies with John Goodman and Rosie O'Donnell?
Yes.
Those were fantastic too.
Oh,
The first one was
Yeah.
the best one.
when it's Stephen Baldwin
It was
played the friend.
maybe I know that Rick Moranis played Barney.
Oh, goodness.
Rosie O'Donnell played Betty,
Yeah.
and John Goodman played Fred.
Yeah.
A great one. I used to watch this at my grandma's house after school. It was this, and then I think right after this was the Brady Bunch. But I used to hear this theme, and I used to get really excited. Wilma!
Oh, yeah. I was always sitting down for that one.
All right, moving down the list of some of the best cartoon theme songs throughout time, we got to go with this one. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles ran from 1987 to 1996. They were the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Teenage Fighting Turtles.
Pizza eating turtles.
They loved them some pizza, and they lived in the sewers, didn't they?
Mhm.
That's where they lived.
Oh gosh, what was the rat's name?
Wasn't that their boss?
Was it Splinter?
That sounds right. All right, moving on down the list, we've got to put this one on there. One of my favorite cartoons of all time. This is from the Jetsons that ran, well, it says 1962 to 1963. That can't be right. Just 1 year? One season? No.
No, one season?
It was originally shown in primetime on ABC. It was the first series broadcast in color. That is amazing. But this is the Jetsons. I always liked the Jetsons more than the Flintstones. And I loved it when they made that movie that had the Flintstones meeting the Jetsons. And
Yes.
switching places.
They did a lot of crossover stuff.
They did. Because it was polar opposite.
Yes.
You had the Flintstones from the Stone Age.
In the prehistoric era.
And then you had the Jetsons from the future.
Driving flying cars.
How close do you think the Jetsons got it? Do you think that the future looks like it did on the Jetsons?
Well, you know, as soon as you started playing that, I had to look up George Jetson's date of birth, so like what they listed him as. And technically, George Jetson's already been born. He was born July 31st, 2022. So we got 40 years to have flying cars. That's all I know.
So George Jetson was born in 1922.
No, he was born in 20.
Oh, 2022.
Yeah, he was just born back in July.
Well, I would say when the show started, he was in his 30s. So I would say that the Jetsons is probably 20, 30, 40, 2050s.
Well, we'll see.
We're about 30 years away of living like the Jetsons.
If I could just have a maid as a robot, or a robot maid, that's the only thing I'm putting out there that I want.
I always remember on the Jetsons, they had that little escalator type thing that would be on their floor. And
Yeah.
they wouldn't have to walk. They just had to step on that thing.
it and it walked for them.
That's what I thought of when I was in the airport
yes.
for the first time and seen one of those. I thought of the Jetsons. Gotta love the Jetsons. All right, moving down on the list of some of the best cartoon theme songs throughout time. You got to put this one on the list. I love this cartoon. Pinky and the Brain ran from 1996 to 1998. It was a spinoff of the Animaniacs. Do you remember that cartoon?
Oh, yeah.
They were a part of the Animaniacs, and Pinky and the Brain got their own spinoff. It was about two little rats, one tall, skinny, dumb one, and one small, fat genius.
Yeah.
And together, they wanted to take over the world. And the brain. Gotta love that. Pinky and the Brain. Now here is a cartoon theme that generation upon generations will remember. No introduction there for that theme song, but SpongeBob SquarePants is still on the air today. It's still producing new episodes. It aired back in 1999. SpongeBob was that cartoon that came out right when I was getting out of cartoons because I was getting into wrestling.
Yeah.
So SpongeBob was really not my forte.
I mean, I think I watched it a little, but not that much.
Still a great cartoon. And I can understand the appeal and why people love it.
Yeah.
But it had a great theme song.
See, I struggle with seeing why people like it so much.
Now, there were better cartoons, don't get me
Oh,
wrong.
absolutely.
Like Doug,
Rocco's Modern Life,
Rugrats, Hey Arnold.
Ren and Stimpy.
Come on now. There's so many. But a very recognizable song. And this next song might be even more recognizable than the SpongeBob theme song. This is from Family Guy. First aired in 1999, and yes, it is still going. I think they're trying to compete with The Simpsons for being one of the longest running cartoons out there. Did you know that Family Guy was canceled after its fourth season?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and there was so much of a rile up from people writing Fox saying they wanted the show back that they brought it back.
Wow.
So if a show gets canceled and enough people complain about it, they'll bring it back.
Hey.
That happened to The Fresh Prince.
Seriously?
They canceled The Fresh Prince after season 4.
Yeah. Huh.
And there was a uproar
Yeah.
in letters flooded the NBC office, and they said, okay, we'll bring it back, and they did.
Oh, thank goodness for those people who wrote.
But this is another one that made a comeback thanks to fan letters. That's Family Guy. You would consider Family Guy a cartoon, wouldn't you?
Absolutely. I think, in all sincerity, I think it's one of the best.
It is.
I agree with that one.
It's an adult cartoon, but it definitely is. No, we're not listening to that.
I wish we were in Vegas.
All right, moving on down the list of some of the best cartoon theme songs throughout time. This is an oldie, but a great one. And I hope that you watch this cartoon, Amber. Captain Planet. Please tell me you watched it.
I'm an environmental help.
So,
you know I did.
what was your favorite ring?
Water?
I liked water. I liked fire a lot.
Air was kind of chill.
Heart really irritated me because it was the weakest
That
one.
was the one that I'm like, well,
Yeah. Remember the rings, Heart, everybody had a special power in their
Yeah.
ring. You had fire, you had earth,
Earth.
which kind of, rocked the earth?
I think it could do like earthquakes
Earthquakes
and stuff like that.
You had wind, which
Uh-huh.
blew wind. You had water, and then you had a guy who had heart,
Yeah.
which made like wild animals be nice.
Yeah, he was that last minute addition to the team.
Such a great theme song, though.
That
Captain
one was
Planet.
a good one.
Absolutely. All right, we've got just a couple of more here. Next on the list. This is the Magic School Bus. Were you a fan of Miss Frizzle?
Oh, you already know I was.
Every 90s and early 2000s kid just really got excited because they knew that when they heard this theme song, it was a chill day in class.
Yes.
The teacher rolled in the TV,
Uh-huh.
because they had to roll in TVs back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
Now all classrooms are equipped with televisions, but you had to roll TVs back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And when the teachers would roll in the TV, they would usually show this because it was educational, but it was one of those educational shows that was still fun to watch.
Yeah.
And not to mention a great theme song. What was your favorite Magic School Bus episode?
Oh, I think when they go into one of the boys' stomach.
I like that one too.
Yeah, and they like shrink and
I
go through all
like
the-
that one too. It's when one of them is sick, yeah.
something like
And
that.
they go
Yeah.
through his body. I like the one when they go to space.
That one always freaks me out. I'm afraid of space.
Those were good. All right, I got one more here of one of the best theme songs, cartoon theme songs throughout time, and it's going to go to this old gem. This is from the Tiny Toon Adventures. This was an old show that came on back when I was a kid. It was about the Tiny Toons. It was about the Toons like Bugs and Daffy, but it was about them being little kids,
Yeah.
kind of like. So it was called the Tiny Toon Adventures, and they had a really recognizable theme song. There were so many cartoon theme songs that we didn't mention that could have made the list. There is George of the Jungle. There's Inspector Gadget. There's The Simpsons. There's Smurfs. There's Popeye the Sailor Man. There's Animaniacs. There is South Park. There is Bob the Builder. There is Rocko's Modern Life. There is Hey Arnold. There's Blue's Clues. And then there's, well, I already said Animaniacs, but that, folks, is a list of some of the greatest cartoon theme songs throughout time. What'd you think?
Oh, it's a great list. Make me feel like I'm sitting in front of the TV again, and it's 99.
Dale says on the show thread, "Where's Bob the Builder?" You just missed it, Dale. I just mentioned it. Bob the Builder is one of those great theme songs. You know, I only like to put really my top 10.
Yeah.
So you can't put all of them on the list.
No.
And there's so many that I would have made and I would have put on there. But yes, Bob the Builder is definitely on there. Some people are on here saying Dora the Explorer.
Yeah.
So there are many cartoon themes. And if I miss one, throw it up on the show thread and I'll shout it out. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is some of the best cartoon theme songs throughout time. I hope you enjoyed. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take another quick break. We'll be right back.
Conversations around the table. And you're listening to Radio Lex, the voice of the people. WLXU 93.9 LPFM, Lexington, Kentucky.
Radio Lex has the support of corner sponsor, Bluegrass Community Foundation, bgcf.org.
Join us every Thursday night at 10 on Radio Lex for Freudian Slip, an hour of Pink Floyd. I'm Craig Bailey, your host for an hour from the dark side of the moon, an hour of Pink Floyd. Freudian Slip, Thursday nights at 10 on Radio Lex, the voice of the people.
Which way are you going? If you don't use your turn signals, no one knows. Don't expect other drivers to read your mind. Use your turn signals at all intersections, when you change lanes, and any other time you need other drivers to know your intentions. Make turn signals a habit, and if you're not sure, use them. Hi, this is Paul Island with State Farm, reminding you to be a good neighbor and communicate safely on the road.
Radio Lex has the support of vinyl sponsor Raymond Daniels and Equity Solutions Group. ESG Consulting, LLC.com.
Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. Amber is also in studio with me. What you are hearing is Coolio, the 90s rapper who lit up the music charts with hits like Gangsta Paradise, which is this song, Fantastic Voyage, and many others. Unfortunately, Coolio has died at the ripe age of 59 years old. Still very young. The details on the circumstances were not immediately made available. The only thing they really know is Coolio was hanging out at a friend's house. He went to the bathroom and never came out. Apparently, he had some sort of a heart attack, and that claimed his life. Coolio grew up in Compton, California. He said that he fell into drugs really hard, but got out of it by pursuing a career as a firefighter, and then eventually got into music. He won a Grammy for this song, Gangsta Paradise, in 1996. Coolio sold over more than 17 million records. He also was a reality star. He had a show on Oxygen called Coolio Rules that aired in 2008. So Coolio was all over the place. He was also the guy who sang the Keenan and Kel theme song. Aw, here it goes.
Here
dun,
it
dun,
goes.
dun. Very sad to see Coolio pass. Amber, were you a fan of Coolio?
I actually seen Coolio in concert.
Tell me about it.
So it was the I Love the 90s tour when they came around. It was a great time. Obviously, I've always loved Coolio. You know, Weird Al is kind of what transitioned me into Gangsta's Paradise, which is kind of weird because, you know, they beefed for years over that. But, you know, that's kind of what got me into him. I actually really appreciated him. And yesterday, that hurt my heart a lot.
It broke you, didn't it?
It did.
Yes, very sad to lose another one. A lot of deaths in 2022
A lot.
so far, and we're just in September.
Ray Liotta, Coolio,
Bob Saget,
Bob Saget.
the Queen.
They released her cause of death today.
What was it?
Are you ready for this? Are you sitting down?
Well, go ahead.
Old age.
Did they really report that?
Sincerely, they did. They
They said
reported it
that.
as old age.
Okay, well, no.
No, put that in your notes.
No, boop, is what I want to say. Amber, today is Thursday, and Thursday is a day where I am very busy, but I took it off as far as being a busy day because I wanted to relax and enjoy my home.
Yeah.
But I still have class,
Mhm.
and I wanted to make mention of this. I don't know if I've ever told you. Did you know that I had twins in one of my classes?
Oh, you did not.
Identical.
Yeah.
And
Oh my gosh.
it's a first.
Yeah.
Never had that before, and this semester I do. And I'm always curious when one shows up and one don't, if they are who they say they are. I don't know. I'm just going by what they tell me. But I've always found twins to be so interesting. The whole concept of being a twin blows my mind.
Fascinating.
I grew up with some twins. Their names were Aaron and Darren.
Yeah.
And they lived next to me.
Yeah.
They looked exactly alike. Exactly.
Could you ever tell them apart?
They always said that one had a freckle and one didn't.
Yeah.
I never seen the freckle, so I just called out a name and hoped for the best. Because it's hard to tell them apart, especially the identical ones, because there's two types of twins.
Uh-huh.
There's fraternal and then there's identical.
Yep.
Fraternal, you can be born on the same day, but you don't look alike.
Yeah.
But identical is when you look exactly like your sibling. And I just find that fascinating. And I started looking up just information about twins that I'm sure you didn't even know, Amber. Did you know that 40% of twins invent their own language?
Really?
Yes, it says here that twins mimic each other's babbles instead of their parents' speech.
Yeah.
And because of this, twins can understand each other in their own language back and forth.
Wow.
That is cool, like murmurs and stuff.
Yeah.
So they develop that as children.
Oh my goodness.
Did you know that identical twins, although they are identical, they have different fingerprints?
Oh, well, yeah, I think I did know that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Different fingerprints. I'll tell you an interesting story. My sister and I, we were born 2 years almost apart to the date, but she lived in a sorority house, Delta Zeta, and you had to get in, you had to use your fingerprint.
Yeah.
And you had to put it on like this machine, put your finger on it, and it would open the door for Sarah. Well, one day I did it to see if it would open, and it did.
Oh, no.
And it said, "Welcome, Sarah."
Oh, my goodness.
So do me and Sarah have the same fingerprint?
No.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? Twins can have completely different skin tones.
Oh.
Twins start interacting in the womb at about 14 weeks.
That's scary.
Yes.
That's like a nightmare.
Yes. It says at 18 weeks, they are seen stroking each other, making sure that, kind of like petting each other.
Yeah.
Giving affection, giving love. And it says it's even more phenomenal because they are extra gentle around their siblings' eyes because they know that their eyes are very delicate. So, you know why? Have you ever wondered why twins love each other so much?
Yeah.
It's because they form a bond within the womb. They are sharing the same womb.
I just thought they had better relationships with their siblings than I did.
Identical twins can develop different diseases.
Oh.
So, different diseases can happen.
Yeah.
It is possible for twins to have different dads.
What?
It's rare,
Yeah.
but it's possible for a woman to release 2 eggs during ovulation and then get impregnated by 2 different men at the same time.
That's terrible. That's the stuff of nightmares.
That would be terrible luck.
Terrible.
It says here that once you have one set of non-identical twins, you are 3 to 4 times more likely to have another set.
Oh.
Nigeria has the highest rate of multiple births and the most identical twins. China has the lowest rate. Twins can have different birthdays.
Oh.
The longest gap between identical twins' birthdays is 63 days.
What?
Go figure that one out. The Jim twins were separated at birth but went on to lead identical lives.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the Jim twins?
Didn't they like marry the same like named woman?
Yes.
And like had the same type of job.
And never had any idea who each other was.
Yes.
And they ended up going in separate directions, but mirroring each other's lives without even knowing it.
That one was cool.
And then finally, just another fascinating fact about a twin is mothers of twins live longer.
Oh.
So there you go.
Okay.
Think about some of your most famous twins that are recognizable. There's Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen.
Hey, I met them.
You have met them.
Yes.
Which blows my mind that you met.
Yes.
You do know that you met the most famous set of twins of all time.
Yes, of all time.
Top it.
Nice.
Top it. Top a more famous set of twins you can't. Yes, there's famous twins out there, but a more famous than the Olsens?
No.
They're not. So you said they're nice.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah, I mean, they went on to be, they rocked the world. They went on to be billionaires.
Yes.
They have their own fashion empire. They have their own clothing line.
Did their own like movie collections, movies.
Yes.
Awesome.
So you can really bank off of being a twin.
Yeah, well, you got Tia and Tamara
Mowry. Tia and Tamara Mowry are also another set of famous twins. Yes, they're known for their sitcom Sister Sister.
That's a good one.
And then they've kind of branched off to do other things.
Mm-hmm.
I know that one twin does a talk show, and then the other twin does more behind the scenes things in Hollywood. So it is possible. What about Dylan and Cole Sprouse?
Yeah, there you go.
That's another famous Hollywood twin. They were the. Have you ever seen Big Daddy?
Yes.
The little boy from Big Daddy. There was actually two of those little boys. They were twins playing the same character, but they went on to do The Sweet Life of
Zach and Cody.
Zach and Cody. And then there's also other famous twins. The people who supposedly created Facebook.
Yeah.
The Winklevoss twins.
Oh.
Pretty famous.
Hey.
What about any more famous twins that you can think of?
Oh, twins? Oh.
I know that there's twins off Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Oh. Are there?
Don't the Malika. She has a twin.
Oh yes, Malika and
Kadisha. I could not think of her her
Yeah.
name, but yes, they're twins.
Oh.
So there you go. A lot of twins out there.
Twins are fascinating.
Twins are very fascinating.
Could you just imagine somebody else just looking identical to you walking around?
No.
You know how scary it was that your fingerprint worked for your sister. Imagine somebody having your face.
Oh gosh. And talk about never really being able to fully just identify as an individual.
No.
Ever.
Because
you're always going to be attached to your twin.
Oh.
If your twin's uncool, you're uncool. Or you're always going to be known as the cool twin or the uncool twin.
Exactly. Or the pretty twin, not pretty twin.
Yeah.
Yes. People come up with all kinds of crazy things.
It is. But I just find just the whole concept of being a twin fascinating. Did you know that I never... Well, I grew up with those two twins, but did you know I met triplets?
Yeah?
Not identical.
Yeah.
But I met two boys, one girl, they were triplets.
Oh, goodness. I think I met one set of triplets.
Yes. Now, identical triplets, that would be a trip.
That would be freaky.
Imagine quadruplets.
Uh-uh.
Because that happens.
Oh, yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take Off the Cuffs Song of the Week break, so roll down them windows and enjoy it. We're going to listen to Why Don't You Do It by Little Bernie. We'll be back after the song.
Been a stranger week with the stuff you didn't do and the people that you meet and digging up the bush like.
All right, let's see here. Sleep. Sleep. That's what mine was doing yesterday.
Oh, my gosh.
is fun. Oh, will you do me a quick favor?
Yeah.
Will you look up and see what time? No, see what channel the Kentucky game's going to be on Saturday. Look up some spreads.
Mississippi versus Kentucky.
Mhm.
ESPN.
Okay. At noon, right? Kentucky football is 4-0. That is a really good start to the season. They take on Ole Miss this Saturday at 12 o'clock on ESPN. That will be a game for the books. Both teams are 4-0. Both teams are looking for a win. This is going to be a tough challenge for Kentucky. They're going down to play Ole Miss down in their territory. And they defeated Youngstown State, talking about Kentucky, they defeated Youngstown State and Northern Illinois with ease, like everyone thought, stacking 2 more wins onto their record. And they'll take on Ole Miss this Saturday. So I never was a fan of pre-show talk, so we won't talk much more than that. We'll talk post-game, and we'll get more info from Off the Cuff when the game is over next Thursday. Oh, and I'm sure everybody is wondering, Adam, when are you going to talk about Dahmer? When are you going to talk about the Jeffrey Dahmer Netflix? Trust me, folks, we've not forgot. Neither one of us, Amber or I both, have not forgot about the Jeffrey Dahmer documentary to discuss. It's just that Amber and I have decided to watch that documentary together. Slowly, and we do not watch more than 1 episode at a time.
We can't.
We can't binge watch it. It is very dark.
It's so dark.
But it's so good.
Gosh, it's so good.
It's so good. The acting is phenomenal. And we'll talk about it next week because we only got 2 more episodes.
Yeah, so we're going to be finished
very soon.
Very soon.
So we'll talk about the Dahmer episode next week. But ladies and gentlemen, we still have 1 more segment to go. So stick with us. We'll be right back.
Cars and drivers are involved in over 45,000 bicycle collisions a year, many of them fatal to the cyclist. The number 1 factor in all these collisions, not paying attention. Bicycles have the same right to the road as motor vehicles. Share the lane with cyclists anywhere there is not a safe path. Leave at least 3 feet between the vehicle and the cyclist when passing. Make eye contact with cyclists at intersections, and check for cyclists coming up on your right. Hi, this is Clark with Safe Farm, reminding you to be a good neighbor and keep our roads safe for everyone.
Radio Lex has the support of Groovolution. Give in to the groove. Groovolution.com.
Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. Amber is also in studio with me. Last segment of the hour. Taylor Swift was offered the Super Bowl halftime show, but turned it down. Now, when I heard that Taylor Swift was offered the show, I was like, great. This is exciting. Taylor Swift, yay. But then I heard she rejected it, and I was excited even more.
And then you got excited all over again.
But it made me start wondering, who does that? Who rejects the Super Bowl halftime show?
Seriously.
There's always a reason behind it. She says that she is not doing any major performances until all of her records are re-recorded. Now, we've talked about this on the show before. her old music producer, Scooter Braun,
Yeah.
somehow, some way, bought the rights to her music.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, anytime her song is played, he makes money.
Mm-hmm.
Every time anything is really sold with her music, he gets paid. So she knows that if she goes and plays the Super Bowl, that increases your popularity even more.
Oh,
That
absolutely.
it kind of makes you the hit again of the entire year, so people go and buy your music again. So she's thinking, I'm not going to give Scooter Braun any more money than he's already made from me.
No more lining his pockets with her money.
But think about how bad that has to suck, how much that has held her down, how much that has limited her. Is it worth it?
I mean, in all sincerity, I'm gonna say yeah. I mean, she's taking a stand for herself.
I can see your side, and I can see why people would say that's worth it. But then again, I look at it and I look at it's going to continuously keep causing her opportunities. Because at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, how much money do you want to keep stacking onto your net worth? Yes, you're going to make money, or Scooter Braun's going to make money, but what are you in it for? Are you in it for the money, or are you in it to grow your legacy? Performing the Super Bowl is going to do nothing but grow your legacy. The fact that you turned it down, Taylor, makes me think that they might not ask you again. She was going to be the solo headliner.
Yeah.
There's not many people that's headlined it solo.
No.
Taylor Swift was going to be a headline solo, so she turned it down. So they went after Rihanna.
Yes.
And they said, Rihanna, will you do the Super Bowl? And she said yes. Now, I am excited about
I
that.
cannot wait.
Rihanna will put on a
Yes.
great Super Bowl. I always thought that if we're trying to find a female to put on the Super Bowl that's not done it before, why not have Rihanna do it?
Oh, I'm so excited.
If not Rihanna, have Miley Cyrus do it.
Oh, that would have been.
I'm a Miley Cyrus fan.
Absolutely.
I think Miley Cyrus could do the Super Bowl.
Yes.
And rock it out.
Oh, she can run barefoot on a treadmill. She can do anything.
But I'm very she can.
She can.
Who does that, by the way?
Miley Cyrus.
Runs barefoot on a treadmill.
Barefoot on a treadmill.
But Taylor Swift turned it down. Rihanna is taking it. Now, I don't know if Rihanna will remain the solo artist.
Yeah.
If she'll bring people in. If I was to be doing the Super Bowl, I would do it solo.
Oh, she's got enough music. She could fill 5 halftime shows. So I'm hoping that she keeps this a solo performance. I really am.
Yes. And it will be exciting to see what happens there. But the Super Bowl is always usually in February, March. Hopefully the Bengals will be there again. You will see that I have my Bengals shirt on. They play tonight, Thursday night football. Thursday night always feels more important. So I don't know why. It just does. But ladies and gentlemen, that about wraps up another episode of Off the Cuff with Adam Banks. You can check out all of our previous episodes by subscribing to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube, or wherever podcasts can be heard. You can follow the show on social media at Off the Cuff with Adam Banks. You can follow the co-host on social media at Ambu447. You can follow me, the host, on social media at The Adam Banks. We release new episodes every Thursday right here on WLXU 93.9, which means we will be back next week. Same time, same place, 4 to 5. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Ember Turner. I'm Adam Banks, and this is Off the Cuff. We'll catch you down the road.